I was told many years ago that there's only two types of users when it comes to data, and in this case, configurations of that data, and that is people who have lost data and people who will lose data. And that's very true. And that's why in a production environment, it's a great idea to have regularly scheduled and verified backups so that if something happens, we can do a restore. There are also opportunities from time to time to do upgrades of systems. And Checkpoint has some fabulous upgrade tools if we're migrating, for example, from R70 something to R80 something. And they've got tools that include a migrate export to pull out the configuration, and they've got a migrate import to bring in the configuration after we do the upgrade. And they also have lots of tools that can run through and identify all the prerequisite checks and identify what's lacking, what might be needed, with the intention of making the upgrade as smooth as possible. However, in the event the upgrade doesn't go great, wouldn't it be awesome to have some kind of a massive redo, a reset button where we could restore the entire system, including the file system, any customized files, system configuration, including interfaces, the host name, routing protocols, any software blades, and if it's a security management server, including the management database. Well, that, my friend, is where the concept of a snapshot comes into play. It's not something we're going to do every day because it's absolutely huge and it takes a long time to run. However, before we do major updates or upgrades, it's a great idea to take a snapshot, and that way we have it as a huge safety net if we need to revert back to that snapshot and be back in business relatively quickly. So to create a snapshot, we have two options. We can use the web user interface or we can use the command line interface. If we're using the command line interface, we'd simply issue the command add space snapshot space and then the name we want to give that snapshot. So if we wanted to call it O_snap, we could. However, it might be more helpful to name it something more meaningful. And that way, if we ever need to revert back to that snapshot, we have a better idea of what it is based on the name. And if we want to create a snapshot from the web user interface, let me walk you through exactly how we can do that as well. Here in the web user interface connected to our appliance, on the left-hand side, if we simply scroll down under maintenance, there's an option for snapshot management right here. So we'll select snapshot management. Currently, we've got one snapshot called OSnap. Here it's got the date it was created, how big it is, just under 10 gigs, along with the version. It's also indicating down here that if we want to create yet another image, we'd need another 9.5 gig, and fortunately, we have it. So we have 15 gig available, so we have room for another snapshot if we wanted it. So regarding snapshot management, we have the buttons for new, revert, delete, import, and export. So if we wanted to create another snapshot, we simply click on new. And so for the name, we'll call it new_demo_snap. And for a description, let's call it just prior to major upgrade, and we'll click OK. And depending on the system and the speed, in a period of time, it will be done. In this lab environment, it takes about a half hour for the snapshot to complete. It's also a good reminder of why in the production environment, we're going to be doing backups regularly. That's just the configuration information, and just do the snapshots before big major events. Because backups use a lot less space, and they happen more quickly. And although snapshots are more complete, including the file systems, they do take a lot more space and they take a lot longer to run. In this nugget, we've taken a look at a few benefits of creating a snapshot in a Checkpoint environment and walked through a demonstration of how to create one in the web user interface. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.